Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dude's Brunch. It's a podcast about pop culture, internet garbage, and black coffee. I'm your host, Taylor Olmstead. With me, it's Tyler Reed. Tyler Reed, what did you have for brunch today?
Hey everybody, it's been a minute. Essentially, since the time that we have recorded our last episode, I recently got another job. I quit one, started another one, so whoops. And so now I work at Coffee Emporium, the place that I usually end up going for brunch. So get ready for every single Sunday. Gonna be something from Coffee Emporium for the foreseeable future. I usually get out at like 2 p.m., which is, as you know, prime brunch time. So I'll try to actually eat something different. That being said, today I had breakfast burrito. And I was like, let's have breakfast and lunch all at the same time. So I had some tomato bisque.
And of course, that black iced coffee.
Of course, yeah. And I've had to try all the fancy drinks that they have. And I'm like, I don't need these extra calories. Like, I don't need basically a iced chai frappuccino every day. But boy, am I certainly going to think about it.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling all too well. Shaun Evans is here. Shaun, what did you have for brunch today?
Pancakes.
Hell yeah.
And then we went to Einstein Brothers and I had a chocolate chip coffee cake.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I like their Santa Fe sandwich there. That's so good.
I think I can count on one hand the number of times I've been to Einstein Brothers, but I really like it every time I go, and I think I should probably go here more.
They had one in NKU's library, so that's why that's the reason why I went there.
Yeah, they had one at Akron's library too.
Whoa.
I think I've actually been to the one in the Akron library, come to think of it.
It always makes me feel weird that they're like, it's the fact that it's called schmear.
Yeah, I agree. It does feel weird that it's called schmear.
Cream cheese.
It's just because it's just one of those words you have to say a certain way. You can't just
schmear.
Schmear. You're like
schmear.
Smear.
Come here. Come schmear.
This is what good podcasting is. 2 hours of people saying schmear into their microphones over and over.
Yada.
So this is in related news. I was just, since I'll be going home next week, I asked my brother if there was a Buskin bakery around where he lived. He said no, they're just Cincinnati. So I'm on their website right now to see if he was wrong, see if there is one that's closer. And the first thing they have is a Flamin Hot Donut, which basically makes me want to vomit.
Is it like a sriracha donut? Is that the idea here?
No, it says new Flamin' Hot Donut available for a limited time at all locations. I don't know what the hell it is, and it looks disgusting.
Maybe it's just a very hot donut.
So what you're telling me is next week we need to have Zach or somebody in Cincinnati get one of these hot donuts and report into the podcast.
No.
That sounds like a great idea.
Let your dollars vote for what you shouldn't make, and the answer is hot donuts.
I mean, I'll try anything once.
Oh my god, you're disgusting.
I tried to save you, Tyler. I tried to push this off onto Zach, and you just wouldn't let it happen.
You know what? Go get one. Go eat one. Tell us about it in 2 weeks when I come back.
Oh, great. That sounds... Yeah. Okay. Listen, I was the one that said anchovy pizza. I was the one that said let's have breakfast hot pockets.
And get one fresh off the line too. None of that like sitting out, like letting it sit for a while. Just like get a real fresh one.
Yeah, you gotta get there at like 6 a.m. like before you even go to Coffee Emporium.
Oh, you fools! I work at a coffee shop now. 6 a.m. is nothing for me anymore.
Well, for brunch this morning, I also had pancakes, but as a remarkable piece of long-term follow-up, I made a mistake that Shaun and I have already talked about in this segment before, where I thought, hey, I still have this whole wheat pancake batter. It'll go better this time. It did not go better this time, you guys. I gotta throw this stuff out. It's not good.
No one ever said that adding peanut butter to anything makes it any better.
I mean, I just did butter and syrup this morning. I probably could have put peanut butter on them, but they were already so thick that I thought if I put peanut butter on them, they would just like congeal into a brick in my stomach and kill me slowly that way. I don't know what to do here. I have like half a box left. Do you think I'm cool? Can I just like throw that away?
Yeah, you might as well. Oh, why not?
You could probably use it as a fire retardant.
There you go. That's like kitty litter, right? That's close enough.
No, you wouldn't really want to eat it.
I was thinking maybe I could like sprinkle it on the sidewalks when there's ice.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Now we're cooking.
I don't know if it'll work.
Cook it with peanut butter.
Oh, and as another follow-up, well, it's not actually follow-up because it's the first time me talking about it. Wait. It is follow-up. I'm doing Soylent right now. I bought 2 cases. And you know what?
God.
It's not that bad.
How long have you been doing it?
I mean, I haven't been doing every meal. I've just been doing it as a morning supplement. And I mean, I've had like half a case and it seems fine. I mean, it doesn't really taste like a lot. It's just like shitty milk.
Is that their new motto? It's like shitty milk.
Exactly like the picture.
Soylent. It's like shitty milk.
So, be honest. Do you feel like you've gained superpowers or have become in some way more like healthy or satisfied or fulfilled as a human being by drinking Soylent instead of eating eggs like a normal?
Well, I still have a 36-inch waist, so not quite yet. But I think someone told me that I should really commit to like doing like 3 or 4 days of nothing but Soylent. And then, like, I don't have a craving for food anymore, apparently. And I'm like, well...
I think that's because your body probably went into existential shock.
Just like, fuck it. Just stop it.
Just let me die.
You know, it looks like you've given up, so... Assuming that there's duality, because I would never choose this as your body... Nope.
I mean, people fast, right? I mean, how could it be worse than fasting?
In every possible way.
Fasting has a purpose. Listen, one could argue with certainty that fasting is a form of speech. Soylent might be like lowest common denominator existence.
Now, Shaun, it's for super powerful CEOs, though. That's the whole point.
I'm sorry, but if you don't have time in your life to eat food, you need to reevaluate your priorities because eating food is one of my favorite things about living.
I do too. That's why that's why I am the way I am. That's why I'm a big boy.
Do you eat anything with it? Like, do you eat like some berries with it or anything, or you just drink the shake and on your way?
I just drink it on my way to work, and that's really it. I should really try experimenting putting more things in it, but that of course means extra calories or like extra I don't need extra sugar in my life.
But
so
no,
really,
I see. The thing is, I feel like though if you used it as a base for something, it would actually be pretty good.
Yeah,
I was just thinking that. Yeah, like what if you blended up some like bananas or strawberries or something into it?
Right.
You know, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I should probably consider that. The problem is that I just wanted to have something that was like immediate, like I could just take it, and something that I could just like continuously get like boxes of just over and over again, like in a really easy way. But I think maybe if I have more time, like instead of getting up at 5 a.m., I have to think of at 6 a.m. I'm like, oh, I'm functional enough to to put things into a blender. Let's do it.
Let's talk about that for a second though, because
Yeah.
I have also been on the shake/smoothie breakfast train before.
Uh-huh.
And what I found was I enjoy the process of making a more substantial breakfast and forcing myself to sit down and eat it in the morning, even if it means getting up 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier. Do you guys feel that way, or are you like solidly grab something quick on the way out the door, drink your Soylent in the car on your way to work type of people?
I think that I am a this in the camp of morning person, night person. I think I'm definitely over time. I would say I'm a night person. If I had to hazard a guess, I naturally feel myself staying up later just because, rather than getting up earlier just because. And so for me, I'm like, it's such a dread. It actually, in some ways, like makes me like really just genuinely upset. I feel like not like depressed or anything, but I'm like, God, this just sucks. I hate it. Like waking up like 5 a.m. to then just immediately go do something. I want to like sit and I want to like enjoy like my morning. I want to just kind of sit around for like an hour and then go to work. But I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. to do that. So I would if I could.
Shaun?
No.
Your mini muffins on the way out the door, sometimes Oreos type of life?
I try so hard not to do that. I really do. Like, we've been making quiche for the past couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And just like having a little piece of quiche in the morning with some orange juice, winning the battle against scurvy.
Do you two eat breakfast together in the morning?
Would you say that we eat breakfast together in the morning? No.
I like that you had to ask her for the answer to that.
When do you need to get there at your place of business, Shaun? Usually,
it depends. Sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
So it's to be fair, no one should really reasonably be buying clothes at 6 a.m. anyway. So
no one's coming in for their morning cloth enema.
Well, when you put it that way.
They're all at Tyler's place of business, patronizing him.
So, speaking of coffee, continuing our long train of follow-up here, we took 2 weeks off because I was out of the country, and I can confirm people in the UK drink way more instant coffee than we do, and I am not okay with that.
Why?
Instant coffee tastes like garbage.
You're garbage.
Whoa.
So what I'll say is, when you go into a coffee shop, generally, they're going to have more espresso-based drinks. They don't really do, like, drip coffee. So the closest you can get is an Americano, which is fine. I love Americanos. But in all of, like, the places that we stayed, because they don't have an espresso maker, it's instant coffee or nothing. And I drank so much more instant coffee than I ever have in my life. Don't want to go back to that.
I think that America and one other country are like the only two countries where regular drip coffee is preferred over instant.
I'm sure that's probably true, but I guess growing up on drip coffee, instant, like, there's just something about it that doesn't work for me.
I mean, I have no room to say literally any words at all because I'm like, I only like cold coffee. And you're like,
yeah, get
please. Out. They're like, people in other countries are like, what are ice cubes?
People know what ice is, Tyler. Shaun, do you drink instant coffee?
Yeah, on occasion, yes.
Like, at home?
Yeah. Sometimes when you're in a rush and you don't want to make it, I have like little packets of it. I just put it in there. I take it to work and stuff too because we don't have a coffee maker.
Yeah, see, that's normal, and I've totally done that. Yeah. How do you prep your coffee at home typically if you're not doing instant, just regular drip pot?
Yeah, we have a regular drip machine. We've had a whole show about this.
I just wanted to do a little coffee update.
I have a few coffee machines. So. And
Tyler, are you still cold brewing?
No. No.
He doesn't have time for that. He does that for a living now.
Yeah. No, I did cold brewing for about a year, and then I purchased a Hario V60, which is a pour over, whatever they're called. And so then I had heard that there's another brand that's called Kalita, and they have the one called Wave, and so it's in like a metal container. And instead of having just one giant hole, it's got 3 small holes, and it's got a different filter. And apparently people say that's a more consistent cup of coffee. Like, it requires like less precision. And I've generally been enjoying that, but I've been kind of like trying to get, I just can never get my ratios right. Sometimes I'll get a great cup, sometimes I'll get a bad cup, and I need to kind of work on my consistency. So
that's fair.
But that was a deep dive, and nobody cares.
No, really, truly, I care because I'm doing drip coffee usually with just cream in the morning right now, and something about it is really lacking for me right now. I feel like I need to switch my coffee up, and I just don't know what to move to.
How long does it take for you to do like your drip method?
I mean, I put everything in and turn it on, and then go take a shower, and then come out and I have coffee. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
I have no idea how long it actually takes.
sure.
Less than
We
my
have a
shower.
timer on ours. We just set it when we go to bed, and then it comes on in the morning.
I need to get one of those.
I mean, like, it probably takes me 10 minutes, or roughly maybe 10 minutes, I think, to make a pour over. So, I mean, it's not like a long time, but it's certainly, you definitely have to plan for it instead of...
But it's not 10 minutes of consistent action, right? It's like set it all up and then let it go.
Well, you grind the beans, you heat the water, you put the ice in the cup. Well, you don't put the ice in the cup because you're probably gonna get it hot. So yeah, you let water boil, you grind the beans, and really then after that, it's just a few like you pour a little bit, you wait, you pour a little bit, you wait.
Nope, too much work. Too much work.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Well, you can do other things while that's happening, but yeah.
Nope. Hard pass. Let's move on.
Right. Well, you know.
Hey guys, Zach Schonkweiler here. You may recognize me from my previous appearances right here on Dude's Brunch, in which I sound like a total asshole. But I'm actually a pretty ordinary guy, with an extremely ordinary podcast called Ordinary Folk, which is now part of the Dude's Brunch network. On Ordinary Folk, I like to sit down with people who I've met that I find truly interesting because of their passions and what they do, and try to have a unique conversation, finding out why it is they do what they do, and how they got to where they are now. It's quite a glorious adventure of curiosity and conversation, if I do say so myself, and I think I just did. We'll be returning with new episodes later this summer. So until then, stay tuned, stay hungry, stay true, and stay ordinary, you beautiful creatures.
So, Tyler, you wanted to upgrade a piece of internet garbage this week?
I did. So we have featured the YouTube channel Binge with Babbish on the show before. Like as Taylor said, as a internet garbage, and I felt like it deserved its own topic because he recently reached 1 million subscribers, and he's almost he's about 1.5 million now, and so this is pretty spectacular for someone that's basically been doing this for about a year now. He's really risen pretty quickly, and so I kind of wanted to just kind of look back and see, like, really reflect on why we think maybe that is. Some videos that I think that probably led to that, and just kind of, I guess, like the sort of virality of his content, and how that it makes him successful in some way. So I think the ones I think are important, I think are his one on the Szechuan sauce, because apparently that was everyone got really excited because I guess everyone really loves Rick and Morty, a show I've never seen ever, but clearly the internet is in love. And just kind of looking at his Social Blade account, and it seems like there's just a huge spike in subscribers and views during this episode. And so I don't know, as a non-viewer, or as viewers of Rick and Morty, I mean, was that like a big deal for you? Like, was the Szechuan thing funny? I don't know.
I mean, so the thing with the Szechuan sauce, Rick and Morty has like an intensely rabid fan base, as I think a lot of people listening to this podcast probably already know. We did a whole episode on Rick and Morty as well. But the Szechuan sauce was a prolonged bit in an episode that came out, oh gosh, probably like 4 or 5 months ago now. But the episode was released as kind of a tease for the new season. And so it was the first new Rick and Morty we'd had in like 2 years, and the only Rick and Morty we'd get for like 3 months. And so everybody just like latched onto this joke and started petitioning to McDonald's to bring back this Szechuan dipping sauce, and like got an official response from the head chef of McDonald's. And it turned into this huge big, like, I wouldn't call it a meme so much as like a weird in-joke inside of this fandom. And his video dropped like right around the same time that this really started to gain traction.
Right. It was, I mean, I think it was almost instantaneous. I think he saw it and he knew he probably had to make that video. You know, like, how could you sleep on something that huge? And like, you can see the numbers really show that like people were really into it, because I mean, it's got 3.6 million views. I mean, that's just nuts. It's just kind of funny because I think over time, I think he really chose the right kind of topics to pick. I think he really got more topical as he kind of went on. You know, he kind of started off, you know, he did like Louis C.K.'s like fried chicken, or like the Thanksgiving sandwich from Friends, which is the one that I watched, and I was like, well, I need to get on this train. And then he eventually got more popular with, or he did more popular things like, you know, the Breath of the Wild episode of Game of Thrones and Szechuan sauce. And I just think that's really cool. And I think he really figured out kind of like how to target an audience. And it kind of it's interesting because it kind of reflects kind of how you're consuming content. It's almost sort of like in there's almost like this patron system where like we just want people to make the things that we want, which most of the time that's based on things that we already like. So like cartoons and stuff. No one really wants original art or original content. They want things, funny things, parody, satires of stuff that already exists. And I think that's super interesting in how that is kind of carried off into this. And I think in some ways it's its own kind of original content, because he definitely puts his own spin on stuff, which I think is the best part.
I think it helps too that when you play off TV shows and stuff that you already have, there's that built-in fan base. Like Teo was saying about the Szechuan sauce. Like, as a Rick and Morty fan, I love that show, and I am like intensely loyal to it. And if you were going to make a reference to that show like directly after that, I would have clicked on it because I just love it. So I guess it doesn't surprise me that he has 1 million people, because I mean, look at, he went after Rick and Morty, he went after Game of Thrones. There's a huge fan base there.
Yeah, he's got, I mean, Bob's Burgers, Twin Peaks, House of Cards. Pretty much every big show of the last year, he's done a video about.
And I mean, it felt like right off the bat, I feel like he kind of knew what he wanted. Because, like, if you look at the first episode, well, I guess the first kind of episode, there's like 3 videos that are like, 2 of them are a trailer, and one of them's him fucking around with a knife. And then there's the part
these are all 7+ years old, and then the first real Binging with Babbish episode is a year ago.
Yeah, and it's Parks and Rec, and, you know, it pretty much the format was just solidified. And that's nuts that, like, he just knew what he wanted, and he just did it. And then he just kept doing it. And I feel like that's the recipe for success of sort of like virality, right? Is making a good product and replicating it with, you know, a different window dressing.
So I guess on that note, while we're talking about kind of like the structural things about this before we get into the individual videos, watching 3 of them in a row to prepare for this show, I noticed a couple of things. First, that for the most part, unless he's doing like a blooper or something like explicit in the episode, it's always a neck down shot of him and his tabletop with voiceover that's added later and none of the audio from the kitchen, because he's usually speeding up the footage.
Mm-hmm.
And the effect is kind of similar to the Tasty videos, which we talked about on this show a long time ago.
Yeah.
But a little bit longer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I guess what I'm wondering is, like, do you think that not showing his face makes the videos more successful, makes them more anonymous like the Tasty videos?
No. Just look at the title. I know that's like a cop-out answer, but, like, clearly he wants to establish his brand, and he's done a good job at it, so...
Yeah, and I think that's fine. It adds a certain level of... It's almost a meme within itself, right? Is that if you just do something the same every time, and people are going to be like, well, why does he do that? And then you're like, oh, it's just the thing that he does. It's like Zay Frank always having his eyes open, which is a dated YouTube reference, but the point still stands.
I think to a certain extent, I agree with you. I do think, like, for me personally, it's more interesting to think of him as, like, a faceless being. Like, I don't really want to know what his real face looks like. And I do, because he shows it in, like, the channel thumbnail. But I kind of like the idea of him being this, like, disembodied voice for some reason. That just really works on me.
Yeah, because it definitely would be weird if he had his face, and then he would just, like, a voiceover of it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what it is, right? Like, seeing his face as he's doing all of this, but then his disembodied voice is also talking to you, that might get a little disorienting.
And I think maybe that might be also be something within the cooking YouTube space. Not that I would know, but it seems like that's something that maybe other people do. Maybe that's not unique to his channel.
I mean, you do see that in other, like, food videos, less focus on the individual chefs. But I think, and I don't know if there's any actual influence here, but it feels very influenced by CGP Grey to me. Mm-hmm. This very, like, fast-talking, well-enunciated, kind of sarcastic, deep voice. Which,
yeah,
if you, like, watch a CGP Grey video and then listen to him on a podcast, like Hello Internet or Cortex, there are two very distinct voices that he has. And I feel like Babbish is kind of, like, leaning into the YouTube voice that Grey does in his videos as well.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because you can kind of see, like, him talking, like, normally in the Miracle Blade test video. So it's like, ooh, you get him raw and unfiltered there, and you're like, okay, all right. This is clearly like a persona.
Yeah, his voiceover is very well put together and, like, you can tell that he's reading from a script. Which isn't bad.
Do you think he's reading from a script?
I mean, he's probably reading from, like, a recipe more than a script. Yeah. Like, here are the things that I did, like bullet points.
Sure.
You guys know how hard it is to create this show if we don't have anything planned. Right. So, yeah, I imagine that he probably, like, rewatches the footage and picks out, like, okay, well, this is the one that makes the most sense, blah, blah, blah. Rather than just, like, going for it.
How much trial and error do you think there is in the shooting? I realize this is a pure speculation question, but the Szechuan Revisited video had me wondering that.
Probably not that much.
You think?
Do you think...
Taylor...
It looked like
he
really tried and failed to make that sauce like 5 times in that video.
It's because I think he wanted to make it. He did a bunch of different options though. I mean,
that's true.
There's nobody there who's like testing it. Like if you put like 3 tablespoons of salt in it, what are you gonna like reach through your computer and taste it and know that it's messed up? Like no, I'll just make it off camera and fix it. You know. It doesn't make sense to just waste all your time trying to edit through all this video. I mean, you know what it's like to even edit through all this audio.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's shooting for hours on end to make a 6-minute video here. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I would say he probably does a... Oh, God. Maybe he does a dry run. Maybe he tries it. I mean, he's got like...
No, oh, yeah. There's definitely a dry run on a lot of these recipes. The Game of Thrones meat pie episode in particular really sticks out to me in that way because he has a very strict plan of like how he's seasoning 4 different types of meat. Like he didn't make that up on the fly.
Right. And I peeked into like an AMA and it seems like he gives away a lot of food. He gives it to like his neighbors and stuff or he saves it. So I feels like there's never going to be like really a shortage of like he probably is like please get rid of these things. So he probably he's got to like make it at least once. Or maybe he's just a really good chef. We see that's the other thing. We don't know. He's just a guy.
No, I mean he probably cooks all the time. I don't think that this is like
yeah, you take one look at this kitchen and you know this dude is like if he's not a professional chef, he is a very intense home chef.
Right, so that's what I'm interested in is he a videographer first or a chef first? I think he might be a video. I think he's a fan of being a chef. I think he's like a self-taught guy. I think. No, you strongly disagree.
I think he's probably a chef first and a videographer second. Just because, and the reason I say that is because if he was a videographer, I feel like his videos would look much more like food pornographic.
Yeah, it would look a lot more like the Food Network than it does.
And I feel like his videos are just like a GoPro on a stand mounted in front of a kitchen island, which is fine. There's no like judgment there, like, oh, it should be like, like give me all that graphic stuff when you're like pulling apart a quiche and it's like all melty and goopy. Like, it's fine. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm with Shaun here. I kind of like that it's not like food porn because it feels more, it almost feels like utilitarian in a way, right? Like, I'm going to show you all of the very elaborate steps it takes to make this thing. You can probably not do some of these things. Like the whole section of the Szechuan video where he makes his own chicken nuggets, I was like, nope, I am never going to be able to do that. Also, I never want to do that because chicken McNuggets are like less than $1 each, so screw it, I'll just go buy some. So based on his back catalog here, which is pretty extensive, what dishes stuck out to you guys, and what would you like to see him make?
So you mean like dishes that he should make in the future?
Yeah, like was there one in particular from the past
Sure.
that he's done that you like, and is there one that you want to see him make?
I think as a side note with that, I did also looked at his anime, like I said, and a lot of things that people were like, hey, you should do this one, he ended up doing. So he's got a pretty, I think that's also a pretty good strength that he's like listening to his audience, and I think he hears what they say, and he goes along with it. I think that's pretty important. But like I said, I think the first one I watched was a Thanksgiving sandwich, and I mean, I think that's honestly probably one of my favorite ones, and I think that's the one I would strongly consider making. I also think Louis C.K.'s fried chicken was really funny because it's not really a very good recipe in particular. He's just kind of like, Louis just kind of just threw some stuff into a bowl, so I just kind of did that. And I kind of like those ones. I kind of like the shitty ones where he just kind of like the Parks and Rec one. Ron's hamburger is just like it's a patty on a bun.
So I haven't watched it yet, but I really want to see how he does the lemon pepper wet wings from Atlanta. The joke in the episode is that you can get dry rub lemon pepper wings anywhere, but they go to JR Crickets, which is like the big local wing place here, and the guy has like the secret stash of lemon pepper wet wings. And I want to try them. I'm not even sure if they're real, so I'm excited about that. I had one that I wanted him to make, but I can't remember what it was.
Wait, so this is a real thing?
It may or may not be a real thing. We don't actually know. If it exists, it's like an off-menu item at JR Crickets. Like, you have to know somebody and you have to ask, and then they have to make it special for you type of situation.
But, like, you're not kidding. This is, like, a thing that people... Like a place or a thing that... Like,
yes, this is a local restaurant and a secret recipe from that local restaurant that he's trying to recreate.
Oh, that's crazy. How convenient that you happen to be in a major city where people are really getting interested.
A major city where the entertainment industry is currently doing a ton of work. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing that I'm really surprised he hasn't done and that I want to see, I really want him to make Alec Baldwin's Schweddy Balls from that old SNL NPR sketch. That seems like such low-hanging fruit, both literally and figuratively, for him to make.
The low-hanging balls, Taylor.
Yes. You could say they're low-hanging, sweaty balls.
Now, I feel like I've seen this bit before, but
We'll put a link in the show notes.
I don't want to start my free trial of Hulu. Hulu, you fucking suck.
Are you gonna sit? You don't have to sit here and watch it.
It's okay. We can do what we're doing.
It's like a 5-year-old SNL sketch. It's fine. Shaun, any favorites or wish list items from you?
See, because I'm a Rick and Morty fanboy and I don't watch this that much.
It's fine.
Definitely want to try the Szechuan sauce because I feel like looking back on it after having watched this episode and never thinking about Szechuan sauce until then, it'd be cool to try. I would go to McDonald's and try it if they reissued it. And then Honestly, I really would love to know how to get the exact recipe for how Chick-fil-A does their chicken. Because I would eat that every day.
Every day? You'd have some fried chicken? You have some
Every day.
tenders?
Every day.
Tyler,
But which sauce, though?
Tyler, let me tell you something about Chick-fil-A.
Oh, no.
You do not understand.
Have you not had Chick-fil-A before?
I have. I
But,
love
okay.
Chick-fil-A.
But you don't understand how many ways you can eat Chick-fil-A. You can eat it on a biscuit and call it breakfast. You can put it on some lettuce and call it a salad. You can eat it on a sandwich. You can eat it by itself as tenders. You can eat it as wings. Apparently now, you can put it on top of hash browns. I don't know. It's literally good for everything.
Like, have you guys seen the episode of Futurama where they go to the Slurm factory and they make the ultra super concentrated Slurm and they give it to Fry and he like tries to chew his own arms off to get to it? That's how I feel about Chick-fil-A nuggets.
The nuggets specifically?
Actually, yeah, I think that's the most perfect form.
I'm a Chick-fil-A sandwich guy.
So then I think I then have to follow up with two questions. We're talking about a sandwich here.
Now we get the pickle on that sandwich, right? And we eat that pickle, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Okay,
I just want to
so
make sure.
let me air some grievances here. So
Oh, shit.
I
Hard
need-
PG-13 rating.
I need to get real here.
Can we put theme music on when that comes in? Like just put like a quick theme, like womp womp womp. Like it's
Okay. The ideal Chick-fil-A sandwich is bun, chicken, pickle, mayo, bun, right?
actually the pickles go on the bottom. So okay, wait, you were doing it from top to bottom, right?
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
contest the mayo, but that's fine. I'll accept it.
The mayo is a preference item.
Sure.
When your office or place of business has Chick-fil-A catered in, you know, like maybe you're having some kind of fancy lunch meeting or something, or maybe you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. Maybe you're having a graduation party, you got catering Chick-fil-A. They will not give you pickles when they cater Chick-fil-A. They simply
Yeah.
refuse to do it.
Why? Because I bet no one wants it.
No,
Like,
no. They
I bet enough
put
people
them on
complain
the
about
side.
it.
I've seen Chick-fil-A catering where they've given you like a little cup of pickles.
I have never seen this. Why doesn't it just come on the sandwiches?
I think the person that does your ordering has a vendetta against pickles.
They must.
I
It's
bet
like the
they
same person
do.
that orders it at our office every time, but
That's why.
why do they not just come on the sandwich?
I think you need to like go up
No,
to that
listen,
person and
listen,
be like,
listen.
You take those pickles off, don't you?
As somebody who generally doesn't like pickles, with the exception of a few particular places, like basically on McDonald's hamburgers and Chick-fil-A sandwiches, I used to be in that school of people like, don't put the pickles on my sandwich, because like but think about it, like the oh god, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole right now, aren't we? We're really gonna like deconstruct
We're doing
what it
this.
means
We're
to be a
doing
Chick-fil-A
this.
sandwich.
We're going there.
So like when you cater Chick-fil-A, I mean you all of us know this. Like the Chick-fil-A bun is essentially like a King's Hawaiian roll
Right.
that's like not as sturdy, right? Like it's not like an Arby's King's Hawaiian roll. It's like a little McDonald's King's Hawaiian. So like when you get it catered, like if that pickle hits that bread and touches it for longer than 15 seconds, that juice is getting in that bun, and
That
it's
juice
almost
is
gonna go
loose.
through the bottom of that bun, because it's not a thick bun. Like when you get a Chick-fil-A sandwich, I'll give it to them. They give you the chicken, right?
Yeah, there's a lot
So
of
like
chicken there.
if you don't want a pickle on there, like you're gonna taste that pickle on that bun. Like you might as well just, if that pickle is on there, just take that bottom bun off and just fold it in half and have yourself a nice little thick chicken taco. Because like you can't unpickle a Chick-fil-A sandwich once the pickle is on there.
You're absolutely right. And I'm not saying that they need to put the pickles on all of them, but maybe just have separate containers. Pickled sandwiches, non-pickled sandwiches.
I'll put a pickle on there. I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll even put the pickle on myself. I don't give a shit, but like put it in there.
And I don't know why it's. can I explain why a pickle tastes so good? I think it's just the it's such a different taste. It gives you just a little bam.
I mean, like,
Of something different, you know?
part of it feels weird when you have. I feel like when I think about pickles on chicken sandwiches, I think about Nashville hot chicken.
Yes.
And, like, I really feel like when you put a pickle on a chicken sandwich, it's kind of like a disembodied Nashville hot chicken sandwich.
It's a tribute to Nashville hot chicken, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I guess it's like,
If you want to talk about lemon pepper wet,
because then we went
that's
there.
me thinking about Nashville hot.
When we,
Oh, yeah.
when we went to Chick-Fil-A the other night, I got a Chick-Fil-A Deluxe.
Which is the lettuce tomato pickle Chick-fil-A sandwich.
And you know, I think I'm just gonna go back to the regular sandwich because I just feel like I didn't taste the pickle.
I agree. I recently ordered the spicy deluxe because for some reason the regular spicy is no longer on the menu of combos, but the spicy deluxe is, and you can't taste the pickle. So what's the point? Hard
Could
pass.
you just ask them? Could you just ask them for a spicy hold the deluxe, and they would just charge you for a regular one?
So what I've been doing since I discovered this is ordering a spicy deluxe and just taking the lettuce and tomato off.
Oh, God, what a waste of product and value. Ugh,
See-
I'm sorry, Taylor.
A good hack, because Sarah figured this out, is they'll let you substitute a milkshake for your drink with no upcharge.
What? Are you shitting me?
No, I'm not.
Game changer.
That's somebody has to messed up. They I had to be like, me was at there. It was like, it's my second day at Chick-fil-A, and someone's like, yeah, sure, sir, I'll get you that milkshake, no problem. Yeah, okay.
Has she done this more than once?
Yes,
Oh my God.
there has been 3 occasions
Oh my God, stop me. That's
where this has happened.
Has been a different person every time.
Yes,
Oh
3
my
different
God.
locations, in fact.
3 different Chick-fil-A's? Shaun, you're blowing my mind right now.
Do you plan for WWDC like it's your birthday?
Do you have strong opinions on Snapchat filters?
Are you tired of 3-hour-long tech podcasts?
Then you should check out 10 Minute Tech Talk. It's a show Emily and I make every single Tuesday where we catch you up on a week's worth of technology news in just 10 minutes. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Google Play, and basically anywhere else you can get podcasts. So this week for Internet Garbage, I wanted to talk about a criminally underviewed video on YouTube. I think we were the 100th view for this video in the making of this podcast. This video is called Shaun and Jason Mumble Pearl Jam's daughter in Carpool. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's just 2 dudes in a car mumbling to the sounds of Eddie Vedder, the voice of a generation, lead singer of Pearl Jam.
Is that our coined phrase? Is Eddie Vedder the voice of a generation? Because I'm willing to make that claim right here, right now on dudesbrunch.com.
The story goes that many moons ago, I told Shaun that I really don't like Pearl Jam because I don't like that guy's voice. And he yelled at me and said, "Shut your mouth. Eddie Vedder is the voice of a generation." And then proceeded to put on Even Flow and mumble his way through it for like 5 minutes.
Sorry, I need to be quiet. People are trying to sleep. Oh my God, there's that crazy neighbor again. He just keeps yelling Pearl Jam at night. What the fuck?
Shaun, I know you have really strong feelings about Pearl Jam. What do you think about this?
It's funny. I can't say that I've done the same thing. I turn to Mumble more when I listen to C-SPAN radio when I go to work in the morning, because everyone who calls C-SPAN is like, snowflake generation, the internet's the worst. So it's like, it just, I get it. I understand. When you love something so much that you can mumble about it, you truly, like, you see it for what it is.
It's the truest form of love, you could say. Mumble love.
Mumblove.
Mumblove, yes, mumblove.
Mumblove.
Do you mumble love me?
Just so the audience at
Love you.
home knows, I've said nothing for I feel like a few minutes now, and it's just because I've been unable to register the feelings I have for it, because I'm like, it's funny, but it's like, it's definitely like, I'm not a big Pearl Jam fan, but I've just been like, like, let's peek behind the kimono. It's very shitty just to laugh on a podcast for like 5 minutes. So I've been trying to control my laugh talking. That's a thing that I do, and I'm trying to scale that back so I'm a more professional speaker.
I love that your laugh talking don't ever change.
Oh, good. I'm glad somebody does. So I've basically been trying to avoid doing that.
So tell us what you think about this Tyler. This video and Pearl Jam more generally.
I mean, I don't... It's definitely funnier the more times you listen to it, and unfortunately, I haven't listened to a lot of Pearl Jam. So
Can we play a game?
Oh no!
Can we play a game? I'm gonna mumble a Pearl Jam song.
I'm not gonna know.
I want you to see if you can guess what it is.
We can work together and we still probably won't know what it is.
Okay.
I can't get it. I can't do this.
I'll just go right to the chorus.
Oh, that's Jeremy.
See, you can pretty much guess it though. You might not know all the verses, but like,
Well, no, because there aren't any words.
you get there. What was
There weren't
what was
words
that
in that song to begin with except the word Jeremy.
Here we go. Here's one that you'll know automatically.
No.
Oh my god. You don't know that song? That was like their worst one that got radio play.
What is it?
What is it? I don't know. It's like, where, oh, where can my baby be?
Oh,
The
yes.
Lord took
I know what song that is. I don't remember what it's
away
called.
I don't know what it's called either, but it's the worst one.
I was gonna say, didn't we have a deep dive where we really talked about Pearl Jam, and then I realized that was Nickelback. Oh, I'm so sorry, everyone, because they were like kind of grungy in their first album, and I was like,
Tyler, really?
no, not. Well, I mean, yes,
Tyler,
really, but
Tyler.
I'm sorry. They're not the same band. Pearl Jam's obviously better. I think
For the
that
record,
much
Shaun,
is-
that song is called Last Kiss.
Okay.
I much prefer songs that instead of mumbling, I prefer to do mouth trumpet with. So
That's because you listen to way too much ska. And by way too much, I mean any ska at all.
that's right. I haven't listened to at least one ska song on purpose within the last 6 months.
Unless there's no doubt. And that's fine.
All right,
But they
Shaun,
barely
let's
count.
just. All right.
So, other than mumbling non-words to Pearl Jam, what do you guys do when you're like in the car and a song comes on and you don't know the words? Is it just Eddie Vedder mumbles the whole time, Shaun? Like some Lord song comes on and you're like,
I know.
Mumbling away.
I try and fudge it. I try and fudge it as best as I can.
Try to fudge.
It depends on what it is, though. Like, if Sarah's in the car, I'll probably just say something wrong, and, like, really wrong, just to see if I can get a rise out of her. But if I'm by myself, I'll just fudge it.
I fudge real hard because I think it's inappropriate to look up lyrics to a song unless is contextually relevant to a conversation.
Yeah, I try not to look up lyrics and drive.
I would say that the biggest example of this is I've loved All Star since I was like 5 years old, and I have never felt compelled to figuring out some of the words to that song. Although I could say that I know most of the lyrics to that song. Oh no, Shaun, he's dead.
I can't believe you actually like that song.
What do you mean you can't actually believe?
And the day gets colder. They buckled up now. Wait till you get older. And this is where I don't know the rest of the song, so I would go. That is not a hole.
Yeah, see, I do that. I'm more of like a hum the melody than like try and fudge in words that don't exist. Or a lot of times I'll get like the first half of a word and then miss the other half. And so I'm just like, and random notes go here, like whatever.
That's exactly what Taylor says every time. He can't remember a lyric. Random notes go in here.
Well, no.
Here's some lyrics.
I mean, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you just say words that happen to fit the rhythm, but you know. I'm with you though. I don't typically look up lyrics unless they're like really, really difficult to decipher. There are a couple artists that like I look up the lyrics because I especially like the things that they write. But
and as you can imagine, the Screamo phase was a particularly turbulent time for many of us as teens trying to understand the lyrical content of songs. Thank you, Under Oath.
Hey, when Aaron Gillespie sings, you can understand that.
That's right.
That does bring us to an interesting spin-off of this video, though. I'm not sure if we've ever talked about it on the show before, but we used to spend a lot of time driving around in each other's cars, much like the people in this video. And when Tyler was a much younger man with much sprier vocal cords, he used to take well-known and overplayed pop songs from the radio and perform Screamo versions of them in the back of Shaun's car. Which I always found to be way more fun than Eddie Vedder mumbling, although I'm not sure that any of us could actually reproduce that for the podcast anymore.
Well, boys and girls, it was a wild and crazy time in the early 2000s when we really just didn't know anything about anything, and we were like, you know what's really good music? When people just really just scream at me and indeterminately about presumably an imaginary girl or something.
Listen, if you could understand Hawthorne Heights, there was nothing else you needed to understand.
I don't know what there was to understand. Ohio is bad. Love is good. I am sad. Wow, I just summed up Hawthorne Heights as a band.
But
mark that square off your bingo boards, kids. So, is there a song, like a particular song for you, that will come on in the car or at a party or wherever that you don't know the words to, but you totally do this like mumble or like nonsense word thing, like almost 100% of the song?
See, I actually just learned the lyrics of this song recently. But anytime Billy Idol comes on and it's White Wedding, I go absolutely nuts for that song. I don't know why. Wow! That's exactly.
There it is.
I try my best to hit like every note, like as professional karaoke as I can.
So that should be everybody's new text tone. Look out for that.
That's a really good one, Shaun. For me, currently, it's Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy play guitar.
Yeah, like I can get that first line, and then anything else in the verse I'm garbage on, and then the chorus I'm good. Also, from the same album, 5 Years by David Bowie. I have a really hard time with the verses on that song. But it's a really good song.
Oh, man. I don't know if you guys know this, but I really love ads. I think that's my favorite thing about watching YouTube.
What about you, Tyler? What's your mumblecore song?
Probably Cherub Rock.
Slash half of Smashing Pumpkins' back catalog.
Well, I just think that song in particular, I think that's probably one of my favorites. and with the through line here that I don't look up lyrics.
To be fair, I don't think you need to look up the lyrics to that song because they probably don't mean fucking anything.
I just think that song just gets me right in the feels. Unlike all the other Smashing Pumpkins songs, which are fine, but don't give you that emotive quality. Oh, which by the way, so I work with a bunch of 20-something teen girls, and apparently they put on Paramore radio, and I was like just like sweeping the floor, and they play on one of their emo songs from their earlier albums. I'm like, I'm not crying at work about Paramore. It's just like it's about nothing to do with anything going on in my life. It's probably just about some boy as opposed to a girl, and I'm like, it just gets me right in the feels.
Now that we've successfully healed all of our Chick-Fil-A induced wounds and gotten some good group therapy about our deep-seated hate love of Pearl Jam, it's time for some shameless plugs. We'll start with Tyler Reed. Tyler, what do you have to plug?
Hey everybody, you can find my design illustration work at TylerDReed.com, and you can find me on socials as TRDesign on Instagram and Twitter. Been pretty quiet lately, lots of changes in my life, trying to get back on track.
Shaun Evans, where can they find you?
You can find me at sevans8910 on Twitter and Snapchat.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat at TC Olmstead. And of course, you can like and follow the show. We are at Dudes Brunch. Subscribe to the subreddit. It's our Dudes Brunch. We're on Twitch. We stream on Thursday nights, playing some Jackbox games and generally fooling around. And if you really like what we do here, you could leave us a review on iTunes/Apple Podcasts. That would be really awesome of you. Otherwise, we will see y'all next week for another episode of Dudes Brunch.
She's got lots to say in most situations, and he'll put the bill in. Vacation, cause he pays for everything. Girls don't like boys, girls like cars and money.
That's definitely good Charlotte, but okay.
I know, I'm singing. Oh my god, can I just not sing something?
It is a good song.
Oh my god, shut up. Let's go. You ruined the moment for me. That better not end up on this podcast.
When the dogs begin to smell her, did you find it? Did you find it? Did you find it?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm dying. I'm dead.